As we know, we have a big election coming up this year, 2016. It's probably one of the hottest presidential races of anyone. It's a lifetime. More people are getting registered. I think we have such a unique opportunity this year because the elections are so much in the public, in our face, on social media. You can't really get away from it. That more people are interested, and that's really important. They know what their rights are when they go to the polls, and they understand that all of those little things that you need to know about voting, and also what resources are out there and how to determine who you're going to vote for. Because it's not just a presidential race, it's also, you've got your county officials, you've got state officials, and it's important to go out there and research and find out what their stances are, and so you know who you want to vote for when you get there that day. Some of the challenges are, in Indiana, we do have to have a state ID to go vote, and that has been a challenge for a lot of individuals. So that has been challenged in several states so far, but not in Indiana yet. So that is still something people have to remember. They have to remember to take their ID. If they don't have an ID, you need to get it. And it has to be an official ID from the state of Indiana or a federal law or a federal office, such as a passport. It has to have your photo, and your name has to be spelled correctly, and your address has to be right. So that can be a challenge. A lot of times there can be accessibility barriers when you arrive at the polls. There may not be, the elevator may not be working. We've had people experience that just this past primary election. Show up and they need to use the elevator, and the elevator doesn't work. And so they can't even get to the floor where the accessible voting machine is. Sometimes people show up, the accessible voting machine isn't even set up, or people don't know the poll workers don't know how to work it. So there can be a lot of challenges and a lot of issues. So we really encourage people to do their homework in advance and know what their rights are. So if they get to the polls and they are experiencing barriers to being able to cast their vote, that they know what they can do, how they can advocate for themselves. And if that is not successful, they have the numbers of who they can call to get help that day. There is a lot of stigma, particularly around people with mental illness, and whether they have, some people think they shouldn't be able to vote, which is completely wrong. Everyone has the constitutional right. It's your constitutional right. There are states where people who are under a guardianship don't have a right to vote. And I think that is horrendous. Thankfully, we don't have that issue in Indiana, but those laws have been challenged. In California, they actually passed a law to allow people who have lost their right to vote because of having a guardian. They now have a process where they can apply and have that right restored. But it's still a really challenging process because they still have to go to court, and a judge has to say yes or no whether they think they should be allowed to vote. And I think that's just completely wrong. I think as we bring more awareness to the issue and more people kind of get riled up about it, and like our agency and other agencies like Indiana Disability Rights across the country are looking at these issues, we're hopeful that some of those laws will get changed.